Hey you guys, this is Ellie. I have another video for you today. I hope you guys are all doing great. Things that you should have on hand: a block, something like a block, a strap or something like a strap, and you can be creative in what you have around at home, and then a blanket, but you probably have one of those. Yeah, so gathering those things around your yoga mat. And as we often do, we'll start in a comfortable seat, sitting up, most likely on something, so that you can let your knees come down in an easy cross leg. You could be sitting in Virasana, which is on your shins, up to you. Giving yourself a moment to just settle into this space. Listening to the sound of your breath. Relaxing, getting any wiggles out you need to feel comfortable in your seat. And then lifting from the front of your pelvis to the navel, and from the navel to the sternum. Tucking the chin just slightly, it remains parallel with the floor, making space between the teeth, letting the tongue fall from the roof of the mouth, and the shoulders are easy. Elongating your breath, beginning with the exhale, just gently lengthening, and the inhale will grow in response. And when you're ready to begin to move, then you'll clasp your palms together and turn the palms out, and then reach the arms up any amount. You can gaze up if that's comfortable. You can keep the eyes closed. Try to straighten through the arms, shoulders come up, long side bodies, and then lean way over to one side or the other. Separate the shoulder blades as you round forward, rolling through to the other side. Turn the heart up when you get there, or maybe turn the heart down, any kind of wiggles you'd like. And then switch which thumb is on top and let the fingers follow, changing the clasp before you round forward, going the other way. Pausing there, any wiggles you need here. And then returning to center, long through the side bodies, straightening the arms any amount you can, and then maybe reach them back behind you. Letting the clasp slip and the hands come down to shoulder height, dropping the shoulders down the back body. Just looking side to side here. Good. And then turning the palms up, bending the elbows. Reach the thumbs back behind you. And again, look side to side. Good. And the hands come down, coming to the knees or the shin in front of you. We're just going to find some seated cat-cow. So rounding the spine, tucking the chin, shifting around as you like to, and then bringing the heart forward, widening the collarbones, moving between those spaces a few times. Good. And then we're going to come to all fours. So moving aside what you're sitting on, and finding yourself on hands and knees, and finding some cats and cows here. So dropping the belly, widening the hips, letting the heart be open and the collarbones wide. You can shrug your shoulders down or separate them up. You could move between those spaces. And on an exhale, you'll round into your cat, finding a really, really arched back, maybe up on your fingertips, maybe you shift side to side, moving as you like between your cat and cow. You could add on some elbow bend in one or the other. Good. We'll meet up in a tabletop. So hands can be under the shoulders or maybe slightly forward of the shoulders if you don't like that big bend in your wrist. And then hips are over the knees. You'll pull the belly in slightly to support you here so that we don't flop into our tabletop. And then we'll extend the right arm out and the left leg back. Gaze is down at the floor unless you're looking to see what's happening. Reach long here. You can point and flex the foot. You can roll around in the ankle. Notice if you're dropping your belly and pull that back up a little bit. Good. And then bend the back knee, flex the foot so the toes are reaching towards the shins. Pulse that foot up towards the ceiling. See if you could balance. You can always bring your hand back down if balance is tricky. Good. And then pause here, keeping that back knee bent. See if you could reach around and take a hold of your foot or ankle. If no is the answer, you could grab your strap and hook it, or you could place your hand on your sacrum and open the heart up. If you get your foot, kick into the hand, letting the shoulder open. Good, and then release, lengthening out, setting that right palm and left knee down. If you need any kind of cats or cows to reset, then go for it. And then we'll find the second side. Extending the right leg back, left hand forward. Pause here. Find the strength through your core. Reach long. Feel free to wiggle around in the foot. And then bend the right knee. Flex the toes back towards the shin and pulse the foot up towards the ceiling. When you're ready, then stop your pulses and reach back. See if you could grab that foot. Kick into your palm if you've got it. Or just actively opening the shoulder, turning the heart. Hand might be on the sacrum. Releasing and extending everything back out long. And then setting palms and knee down. Bring the big toes together and let the knees go wide. And so you can come back into a wide leg child's pose. As you walk your hands forward, you want as straight arms as you can get, and you want pressure into your palms because that could help encourage your hips back towards the heels. Long side bodies. From this long space, walk the hands over to the right, continuing to sink back in the hips. Breathe into those side ribs. And then going the other way, walking over towards the left. Returning to center. Curling the back toes under. Lifting hips up and back, finding a down dog. And pedaling out the down dog or swaying hips or heels side to side. Finding some movement here that feels good for you. Finding some stillness in your down dog. On your exhales, really pull the belly up and in. And then as you begin to inhale, walk the feet slowly towards your hands, towards a forward fold at the top of the mat. Nod yes and no. Feel free to bend the knees if that's more comfortable. Open and close the jaw. When you're ready, inhale and roll yourself all the way up to standing. Shake it out at the top so you don't get lightheaded, which I know can happen a lot. Great. So here we are at the top of our mats. Actually, before we move through a series of poses, on the mat, I want us to begin to play with our balance a little bit. I'll step back so you can see more of me. So we're going to come way up high on our tiptoes, as high as you can go, and see if we can find balance here, making sure we're not rolling all the way out to the pinky toe side, but keeping some weight on the big toe ball mount. And then you're probably not going to see it when I reach up because my hands will be out of the shot. We're going to reach our arms up, and you'll turn your palms forward, and you're going to open and close the fingers. So like making starbursts with the hands. Good. And then you're going to flap your wrists and roll your wrists around, but all up here, all in this magical netherworld you can't see. Good. And then you're going to bend the elbows. See if you can keep balancing. It's okay to fall out. It's totally fine. Bend the elbows and try to hit yourself in the shoulders. Good. And then reach the palms wide. This one's tricky. Woo. See if you could roll your arms in big circles. Stay up on those toes. And then pause and go the other way. Good. And then come down. We'll just swing the arms side to side, letting yourself flop and hit yourself a little bit. It's warming up through the spine a little more. And then we're going to extend one leg, point and flex the foot. Roll all around in your ankle. And then bend and straighten that knee. And then swing your hip. Seeing if you can swing yourself all around, being careful because I know our home is small here, and maybe yours is too, so that you're not trying to kick anything. Good. And then we'll extend the other leg, point and flex through that foot, roll around. Good, bend and straighten into your knee. And then fling your hip all about. Luckily, what I'm kicking behind me is soft. Great. And now we'll come back to the top of our mats. Planting the feet down, pressing into the soles of the feet, lifting the front of the pelvis slightly. Reaching the arms up, tuck the chin, and any amount will turn the heart up towards the ceiling. Take a comfortable breath here. On the exhale, fold over. Inhale, coming up halfway, face the floor. Support yourself on your shins if you like. Pull the shoulders down the back body and pull the low belly in. And then here, try to hold your shoulders completely still where they are and just wiggle your tail like you're making a J and a backwards J from above. So just wiggling one way and then the other, but trying to keep still in the shoulders. It may or may not happen. Good. And then fold over again. Plant the hands down, so feel free to bend the knees if that's what gets them there. Step the right foot way back long. Come down on the back knee and let the toenails come down to the floor. Sink the pelvis towards the floor. You could keep your hands down. You could find some handy props in your home to come up a little bit or rest on your front knee. Finding a lot of opening through that back hip flexor. Press into the top of the back foot. And then set the blocks aside, or if you've got them, curl. Actually, let's stay low for a moment. Plant the right hand inside the left foot. Left hand comes to the knee. Press into both so that you can twist. Trying to stack your shoulders on top of each other. Pull the low belly in as you exhale. Press down. Inhale and unwind. Curl the back toes under now. And then step back to find your plank. Come up onto the toenails. So tops of the feet, and see if you could windshield wiper your heels side to side here. It's awkward. It's fine. Good. Good. And then pause in your plank. Come down to your forearms. Send the hips up and back, finding our forearm down dog. Walk your feet forward as you like. Here, press into the palms, press into the elbows. Try to let your head be heavy between your arms, maybe just lifting it barely off the floor. And then lift one leg up behind you. Drop into the opposite heel. Set it down. Lift the other leg up behind you. Press in the forearms. Heart is moving towards the floor. Step that down. Come down to the knees. Come down to the belly. Reach the arms along the side bodies. Inhale the heart up, keeping the toes down, pressed into the floor. And then look over one shoulder. Reach a little more with that hand. Look over the other shoulder. Reach a little more with that hand. Move between those spaces a couple of times. Good. Hands plant underneath the shoulders. We're going to either send the hips up and back to a down dog or move through child and go to a down dog. Take a couple of breaths here. When you're ready, step the right foot forward between the hands. Come down onto the back knee. Let the pelvis move towards the floor and the top of the back foot come down. If you liked your props from before, gather them so you can support yourself. If you'd like, you could rest on the front knee, finding whatever kind of support you prefer for Anjaliasana. Really move the pelvis down, opening into that back hip flexor, that quad. Good. Curl the back toes under, just step forward, find your fold. Come up halfway. Fold again. Press into the feet. Roll yourself all the way up to standing. Shake out in the knees. We're going to keep moving today. Inhale the arms up, maybe a little bit bigger on the back bend. Fold forward. Come up halfway. Plant the hands down. You know, we missed a twist. We'll make up for it. It's okay. Step the right foot back once again. Long lunge. Plant the right hand down inside the left foot. Left hand comes to the knee, and we'll press into both, this time high in the back knee. Twisting for a moment here. As you exhale, pull the belly in. And then listen carefully. We'll come onto the outside edge of that back right foot, and we're going to hop the left foot down to hip height. So here you can find yourself in a supported side plank. If you would like, you could step the left foot back to stack into a full side plank. Reaching that top arm up, press into the floor so you can keep supporting here. Good. And then we're going to turn that top palm down and reach overhead, trying to bring the soles of the feet towards the floor so that we're arching the hips upward. And then return to plank. And then reach the left hand underneath the right arm. And then restack. And then turn to face the floor, full plank. Once again, pause here and just give yourself some hip wiggles, shaking it out any amount. You might shrug your shoulders up and down. And then lower either knees, chest, and chin, or through chaturanga to the floor. Find your strap. Here is mine. This could be a belt, a towel, a sock you don't care too much about. Placing the strap over the low back. We're going to take it in our palms or over the butt, really. Place your strap over your butt. Take it in your palms, slightly wider from shoulders width distance. Try to pull the strap apart. Press the toenails down. Press the pelvis down. Inhale the heart up, pulling the strap apart. Drop the shoulders down the back body. Keep those toes down. Good. Coming down as you're ready. Move the strap aside. Press the hips over the knees. We're going to take a big twist here, moving that right armpit towards the left knee and letting the shoulder come down onto the mat. You can reach down with that right arm towards your ankle. You could let it hang. Left foot could stay on the, or left hand could stay on the floor. Could come to your sacrum. Could reach overhead. Inhale to unwind. And then find that big twist on the other side. Inhale to unwind. Walk your hands out to find your puppy pose, letting the forehead come down to the floor, pressing into the palms. Find a block handy. Place it outside your left shoulder. We're going to walk the hands over towards the left side of the mat. Leave the right hand where it is and bring that left palm down so that we can press in, finding a twist as we continue to sink towards the floor. When you're ready, we're going to go the other way. So move your prop over there. Find your puppy pose. And then walk both hands to the right, leaving the left hand where it is. Right palm comes to the prop so you can press in and twist, dropping into that left shoulder. And when you're here, remember to continue to press down the left palm so that you stay engaged through those muscles and don't just sink to your maximum stretch. Good. Bringing the hands back in. We'll find our rabbit pose before we move from our knees. So rounding the spine, we're going to try to put the top of the head to the floor and move our forehead as close as we can to our knees. And then you'll reach back and see if you can take a hold of your heels or your ankles or whatever you find there. Take a hold and then lift the hips as much as they can go. Good. Releasing when you're ready. You might pause in child's pose for a couple of breaths. When you're ready to move on, you'll find down dog. And then step the right foot forward between the hands. Stay high off the back. Actually, this is where we make up for our last twist. Drop down on the back knee. Plant the left hand inside the right foot, right hand to the right knee. Press into both and twist towards this front leg as you continue to sink into your hips. Inhale to unwind. Curl the back toes under. Lift up. Doesn't it feel good to make up for the things we've forgotten? And we're going to find a twist again. Left hand inside the front left foot. Right hand to the right knee. Press in and twist. This time knee high. And then here is where we listen. Flop onto the back edge of that back foot. Hop the right foot down to find your supported side plank. Feel free to step into your full side plank. Reach the top arm up. Pause here, finding strength. Turn your top hand down, reaching overhead, lifting the hips. Soles of the feet reach towards the floor. And then return to side plank. Right arm threads underneath the left shoulder. And then restack. Both hands come to the floor, finding plank. Dropping knees, chest, and chin, or through chaturanga all the way down. This time, leave your hands underneath your shoulders. Pull the shoulders back and down. Hug the elbows in towards your side ribs. And come up into a cobra. Try to pull your heart forward. Shoulders remain away from the ears. Collarbones are broad. And then bend one knee. And then return it to the floor and bend the other knee. Pull the heart forward. And if that was good, but more would be better, bend both knees. And then come all the way down. Good. Pressing the hips back over the knees once again. Walking the hands out to find puppy pose. And threading the right arm underneath the left. Pausing here in a twist for a moment, just breathing into that shoulder. Going the other way whenever you're ready. And finding a down dog when you're even on both sides. We'll step the right foot forward between the hands. Good. And shift the weight into that right foot so that we can lift up into a standing split. Might be a good idea to have some props handy nearby under your face. Maybe your hands are on those props here. Maybe your hands are on the floor walking back towards your foot. Really seek out your balance. Seek it out. And see if you could take a hold of your ankle with the right hand. And then see if you could take a hold with the left hand. Press into the floor. Lift the top leg. Hips are square and closed. Good. Then return the hands to the floor. Find a prop so that you can press down as you lift the whole torso up in a straight line facing the floor. Trying to achieve a parallel line with the top and the leg extending out behind us. Keep that left hand on whatever prop you found and see if you could bend the left knee, reach back and take your right foot. So if you did this earlier when we were on our knees, then you could do it here. And if you used a strap or if you placed your hand on your sacrum, you can do that here. Good. Lift up that back knee, finding a quad stretch as you pull the heel in towards your glute. Keep a hold of your foot if you've got it or the straps. Press into your foot and see if you could stand all the way up. Pull the front belly in as opposed to the back belly, I guess. Good. And release the left foot down. Inhale the arms up. Face the ceiling any amount with the heart. Maybe a little more. On an exhale, fold over. Come up halfway. Plant the hands. Step the right foot back. Good. Shift the weight into the left foot this time. Lift up into your standing split. Lift that right leg high. Keep the hips square. So if you don't know what I mean by that, you might be opening this right hip on top of the left. That's opening the hips. So when you're moving towards stack, and that front hip bone, the front of the iliac crest, is not in line with the left side. So bring the hips down to close, and then reach the foot up. If you haven't gone there and you'd like to, maybe take a hold of your ankle with one hand, and then the other, folding over. And then walking your hands out, finding that prop so you can have a long parallel line, torso to foot, parallel to the floor. Leave the right hand where it is. Bend the left knee, take a hold of your foot, pull it in towards the glute. Of course, finding any modifications that you need and that are appropriate for you. When you're ready, plant firmly into the left foot and stand all the way up. Good, and then release the foot down. I want to check our time, you guys. Okay, we always go so much longer than I think we're going to. It's kind of ridiculous. Okay, so what I want us to work on before we kind of wind down this class is our dancer pose, Nataranjasan. So with dancer, and I'll stand back here so you can see me, of course. With dancer, we're just building on a lot of the things we've already done today. Quad opening, heart and shoulder opening. It's a really lovely pose, and it takes a little bit of that balance we just worked on. So you're going to turn. We're going to do it 2 different ways on each side. We're going to start with a very traditional way. We'll turn the right palm out so that the thumb is pointing towards the back of the room. And then bend the right knee and see if we can take our foot and ankle with the hand. And then this might be your beautiful dancer pose, and you might lift that other arm. But maybe if you'd like more, you could begin to kick into that right hand and come forward. Now here, what I see often is people starting to open that shoulder. You see how my right shoulder disappears? What I would like you to do is to keep both shoulders broad towards the front of your mat, so that you have wide collarbones, so that we're finding more of a back bend and an opening through the quad than we are the side opening, okay? So here you might be, so from side view. And of course, the nice thing about being in our homes is we can walk right over to this lovely chair, and we can use the chair to help us balance as we kick in. So finding a second side as you're ready. Left palm turns out, bending into that knee, lifting up through the opposite arm. Maybe this is our lovely dancer. Maybe it's holding onto the bookshelf. Kick and come forward if that's for you. I always lose my balance a little bit more on one side than the other, just the way things go. Good. The second way we're gonna do our dancer pose today is we'll have that arm or that palm facing in. So we'll go back to the right side. Pause the video if you want longer to play around on either side or to find evenness that you don't have, because I know I talked a little bit more on the first round. Bend the knee, take the foot or the ankle with that right palm facing in. And this time you could see if you could take your left palm and take a hold of the foot or the ankle as well. And then here, a strap can come in really handy. So if that's a struggle, just hook your foot and then take the strap or the sock or whatever it is. And then if you've got your foot in any way, we'll now again kick in and let the heart come forward. And taking the foot with both hands this way allows us to keep the shoulders broad and the collarbones wide a little bit more. And so here, don't hug the foot in towards your glute. Kick it away so that the shoulders are opening, the quad is probably opening quite a bit. We're going to move to a second side as you're ready, so you might play around with that a little bit. Of course, always pausing the video. We can imagine that someday when we are 90, we will reach over our heads, we will take our foot and come into a beautiful dancer pose. And for now, we will take our foot or the strap, we'll kick in, and we'll enjoy where we are today. Wonderful. I'm giving you a moment to be even on both sides while I sip some water. What I would love for us to do when we're done with the dancer pose is to come down to our mat, having all the props around you so that you can set yourself up for any of the final postures as you would like. So because we've done so much back bending, it might feel really great and very open to do a bridge pose here, or even a full wheel if that's in your practice. For the bridge pose, we're going to come down to our backs. We'll walk the feet in close to our glutes. And then have a block handy here in case you want to do a supported bridge or some kind of pillow. We'll press down into our feet and feel ourselves roll the spine up off of the mat. You can walk your shoulders underneath you and clasp the palms and reach them down. Keep pressing into the feet to move the heart towards the chin, and then it stays very active. Lovely back bend. If a more passive pose might feel good and restful, you could place a block underneath you, either at the lowest or the middle height, or whatever prop you have that simulates a block. Don't go the highest height and then hold. It probably won't feel too good tomorrow. And then you can rest here. You can even turn the palms up because you're supported. So whatever pose is appropriate, take a few minutes just to breathe there. Minutes is wrong. Moments, I should say. Good. Rolling yourself down if you're up. If you're in a supported bridge, just stay there for this next bit. We're going to take a full wheel in case that somebody would like to. If this is not in your practice, probably don't try it today. Try it another day when there's somebody in the room with you who could help guide you through. But if it is in your practice, we'll place our shoulders up or our hands up by our shoulders. You can lift up and either come to the top of the head and then lift up or lift straight into your wheel. And what I classically see in wheels are people who are trying to move their heads back this way because that feels like a bigger back bend. I want you to try to move your head forward between your arms and press into your feet to move the heart forward, shoulders forward. Good. Stay for several breaths as you like before you roll yourself down. And we'll all meet up on our backs. We'll bring our hands to the knees and we'll stir our knees like we're stirring a big pot. And then go the other way. Good. And then we'll cross the right knee over the left tightly and hold it there, squeezing the thighs, and drop the right knee outside of the left thigh towards the floor, keeping the shoulders down, finding a twist here, looking over the opposite shoulder perhaps. Inhaling the legs up to center. Of course, if you would like longer in any of these poses, then stay. You can always pause the video and come back. Left leg crosses over the right. Squeeze the thighs together for a moment and then drop the left knee outside of the right thigh to the floor. Maybe extend your arm and look over the shoulder. This feels amazing. I could stay here for a long time. Inhale the legs back up. And we'll find a happy baby. We'll start with a modified happy baby where you bring the soles of your feet together and take a hold of your ankles. And you can feel how your sacrum is nice and heavy against the mat here. Well, if you can continue to keep your sacrum heavy, then turn the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, either continuing to hold the ankles, maybe taking the big toes or the outside of the feet. So you can pull the feet down, shoulders in towards the armpits. Happy baby. You can always rock around. You can always straighten one leg and then bend back in and then the other. Enjoying it. If there's anything else you need before Shavasana, you are invited to take those poses. But for now, we'll find Shavasana. With Shavasana, we lie flat on the floor, making ourselves as comfortable as we possibly can. And so that might mean you place your blanket rolled up underneath your knees or a pillow there if you'd like to support on your back. Could mean something else to support you. I'm going to cover myself up with a blanket to not get too chilly as we rest here. Taking your time to find yourself as easeful as you are able. Allowing there to be space between the teeth. Noticing your hips on the floor and feeling free to rock them back and forth a little bit to get them even. Notice your shoulders on the floor and feel free to lift and release them a couple of times if that feels good. Helps to settle in sometimes. You are feeling calm and content here, and stay. Enjoy this for as long as you would like. When you're ready to move on, bending the knees, letting the hips drop off to one side or the other, rolling and resting. When you're ready to sit up, pressing into the palms to help lift you to a comfortable seat. Letting the eyes close, absorbing what you've done in this practice. Bringing the hands together at the heart, rubbing the palms together to build some heat, and then placing your palms over your eyes. Bringing the palms together once again, placing them at your third eye. Thank you so much for practicing. I hope you stay well. Namaste. Enjoy your evening or morning or afternoon, whatever it is for you. Thanks, you guys.